What's up, adventurers, and welcome to a new ShawnSetGO video. Today we're going to be talking about my most disliked Zenless Zone Zero video. Well, as of yet anyways. And to be honest, I had thought I was done with this game whenever I put out my sensor tower video, but a lot of you were commenting on it, and honestly it kind of brought me back into the game, simply because I want to clarify some things, not because I want to change my position or my points. I think I made my point clearly, but a lot of people in the comments made one of two comments that I think needed to be addressed. One being the money that Zenless Zone Zero made its first month, and then two, are content creators important in the gacha space? While I think both of these are up to interpretation, let me to at least start by saying my content is not meant to be on the pure analytics of things. I think that the content that I make is stuff that is up to interpretation. My content is not for the black and white, but for the gray, you know, for the stuff that can be discussed and interpreted in a number of ways, whether positive or negative. Not to say that these aren't things that can be proven to be true, but simply that they are not categorically true or false in one direction. They're simply discussion pieces. I like to discuss these games and judge from my opinion where these things will go. But I mean, some things are just, you know, it's hard to avoid. I mean, they just have data and facts behind them. So I try to use those to at least back my points, but not necessarily use it as my sole version of content, because anybody can do it. You know, anybody can put out content that just says, here's the facts, 1, 2, 3. So to start, I mean, just to kind of relay to you what a typical Zenless Zone Zero video, like how it happens, like what goes down. This is my typical Zenless Zone Zero content stream, whether positive or negative. These videos tend to grab and acquire comments that that leave to like dissertation level comments, like comments that go on for paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. And at a certain point, it gets sort of too exhausting to relay the same few sentences at everybody, and it gets sort of annoying. But it's not that it bothers me to the point where I don't feel like doing it anymore. But it is sort of irritating to the point where it's just like, come up with a different point is the main thing. So a lot of people are saying basically that I don't think it's fair to judge the game based off of its first month. I agree that the first month is not it's not a good place to judge where the game is going. And I never said that initially either. I think a lot of people interpreted me to be saying that, or they said I was clickbait or something along those lines. All I was saying is that if you look at the first month's profits, at least for mobile, profits for Zenless Zone Zero are sort of met by the amount of losses that hoyoverse received, at least in mobile, to where they're sort of breaking even. So yes, they made 4 million in profits. I'm not going to say that's not a profit, obviously, and some people mentioned in the comments that they said that there's development costs. Yes, there's development costs as well. So you can easily say advertising, development, etc., that incurred additional costs to make it to where it was even closer that they broke even. So it's not a one-to-one transition, and it's not easy to say that the game is just successful or not successful. So I was talking for the position of that I don't think the game is as successful as it is. And that is because when I'm receiving my comments, people are talking like mindlessly, like the game is so good or the game is so great. And I'm not saying the game is so bad either. You know, the game has flaws, but literally any video I put out, I get this group of people who are just upset that I could say anything negative about the game. So I'm here to say that I'm still holding on to that point, but I just wanted to clarify the point I was making. The second point I wanted to make is that while I understand content creators tend to be a point of contention within the gacha space, I do think that it's important. I mean, with when it comes to any releases, any drip marketing, any sort of featured advertising in the game, I think it's important to understand that these games need active and what do we call it, natural advertising, to where streamers can feature it and it feel more legitimate than just someone advertising. Because if something gets advertised to you so constantly, then it feels like the game is becoming just sort of like this corporal, like just feed of content. So streamers and content creators, in my opinion, are very essential to that piece, especially in these live service games that constantly want to vie for your attention. So I personally think the amount of people who are anti-streamer, it's hard to split those from the people actually saying reasonable comments. And there were a few reasonable comments in that video, but at the same time, it was outweighed by the people who were just saying it because they dislike streamers as a whole. So I wanted to make sure that I kind of made those 2 points. A couple of the things that, you know, I mean, I could go through these comments for like a week easily, just because there's so many. It's very early right now. It's like it's in the morning. I'm gonna quickly just render this and then be done with it. But I mean, feel free to comment there. You know, I don't think I'm gonna respond, just because I think the certain mindset is there. It's gone off into its own thing. But hey, you know, it's analytics, and you know, if it helps me to improve videos, then I'll try to sift out the good comments. But understand that that's really all I was saying. I was just saying those 2 points, really, and honestly, you know, if you're gonna ask my honest opinion of it, I think that there's really, it's really too soon to determine Zenless Zone Zero's success. But a lot of people judging me for saying, well, he's saying that the game isn't good, is coming from a place that people just refusing to admit that the game has flaws. And then 2, just like I can't say people are claiming that the game is not as good as people have expected, you can't say the game is a outright hit success. And I just want you to draw those connections, you know, if you can, draw those connections to see that when you have a game that is successful, but it draws from the same group of people as your other few games are, that you're going to be pulling inevitably from those other pools, and somebody is going to eventually switch and quit. Now, the best argument you can make for that is, well, now you hit somebody every 2 weeks, or someone who doesn't appeal to this game, now they appeals to this game. Now hoyoverse appeals to a mass market, but you can't say that already within the first month and be like, that's what's happening right now. That's just not what's happening. So I think these things will be determined with time. You can make speculation about these things, and that's what I'm doing. But honestly, some of the comments in here, like if you want your own platform to talk about these things, you're welcome to create it. It's free, doesn't cost you any money. But using my comments section and platform to do that, it makes little to no sense. You know, I'm a growing content creator, but you know, I think you're just trying to spit into an echo chamber, and it does little to no service to you, and it kind of a waste of your time if you're just kind of misinterpreting for your own goals and ends. You know, make your own channel if you really want to do that. But that's all I wanted to do. I'm not even going to edit this video. I'm just going to quickly render it and put it on. Because I wanted to at least talk about this, and I hope this came to you from a point of reason, and I hope to continue to put out content. I mean, the games that are coming out in the gacha games right now are really exciting, but the amount of like anecdotal evidence of like my game succeeded without content creators, or my game succeeded despite what you're saying, it does little or no to convince or change what I said because it's so far off the point that it just doesn't really help. So hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the page. We are absolutely growing in the space. I don't know if it's because of anger or if some people see reason, but we are so close to being a monetized channel, and I can't be thankful enough. So hope to catch y'all in the next one, and may fortune favor your journey. Peace.